Performing at Abbey Road was just, it's one of those type of things when you're dreaming of being a musician or a rapper, you don't even fathom that. And when it's brought up, it's like, oh wow, we can actually do that. And the fact that I work with John Bryan, I work with Tommy and Rosie, and we did a lot of orchestrations, it was a no-brainer for us to work with the strings on it. And I thought it would bring this performance to another level, another class of hip hop. I was definitely aware of the history of Abbey Road before we did it, and that's one of the reasons why it felt so important. And we put so much time and effort, and just we came out way in advance and practiced so hard because we wanted to live up to the tradition. We wanted to live up to the mystique of this legendary studio. The arrangements were done for this show right here by Tim and Rosie, the wired strings. I just appreciate them really helping us, and John Bryan, who worked with me on the album. We had a couple of pieces of music that were already scored. Performing in front of an orchestra and doing like a hip hop show in front of an orchestra, I just thought was so cutting edge, is so different. I love like pushing the envelope, and to be able to just spit true heartfelt rap lyrics, and whether they have profanity in them or whatever, just in front of an orchestra is just like juxtaposing these two totally, or what is thought to be totally different forms of music. If you picture someone who listens to classical music, and picture someone who listens to only string music, you would think they would hate rap music. And someone that loves rap music, you would think they'll hate strings. But it shows you how it's all music and how hip hop brings everything together. We definitely try to alter people's perception of the music. That was one of my favorite things, adding strings to songs that didn't have them before, and it just brought a new energy. Like Touch the Sky, now we always perform with the strings. It's like I don't even want to hear it without it. I wish I had it for the album version. It took a while. I was there in London a week before, and I was practicing really hard and also shopping really hard. And I really think that shopping came in handy just for my personal pleasure. It had nothing to do with the show whatsoever. With John Legend coming out and playing the piano and A-Track scratching over that and us trying to get that timed up perfectly, we needed to go in and work with it a little bit. It wasn't just get on stage and do what you want to do. That was well thought out, and I wanted to bring them out as a surprise and everything, and people just had a good time. I chose an all-female string section because I wanted to be on top of the girls, my voice that is. Me and Ivan basically came up with the whole vision, to put the rows there. I don't know. I'm a little iffy about the rows now in hindsight, but I guess it was cool. Maybe I should have did one or other, the rose or the handkerchief. They got to show the behind the scenes clips of me going and like trying to adjust the mask, and people's foreheads. Certain people have really big foreheads, and not in a bad way, not in a negative way. They were just different size heads, Some people had the push-up line and some had the push-back line, and we're trying to adjust and make these boxes look like they're the same. But certain people put that box there, it'll be like red on their hair because their forehead is just so small, I learned a lot about face structures. I could probably be a professional plastic surgeon after this experience. With my performance that night, when I hit the stage and we did Diamonds, I think a lot of people, they were so taken back by all the lights and the strings and, just how like dashingly handsome I was, that everyone was just silent. They were like in awe, like, oh my God, he looks so good, So I was like, okay, can you please get over it? I know, all right, can we clap now, I love to perform for those people, DJs, music producers, radio people, label heads, whoever, all these people who think they've seen everything before, like, but have you seen this? Can you get with this? And that's the toughest crowd. I love the challenge, and just speaking to them and telling them, like, this is about the soul, and this is the reason why we got into the music in the first place, because we loved it, and I love it like this, and I want you to love it like this. So it was exciting. I love the challenge. And when I had John Legend as an opening act every night we would go out, would be one night closer to him not being on stage with me. I knew he was going to be a big star, and it would be hard to replace him once he went off to do his own tour. So anytime I could have him back on stage with me again, it just feels like where we all started. The crowd, at first they tried to get a little stuffy with me, a little bougie, and I said, you stop it, all right? You stop it, all right? All right. On one end, they say that English audience are harder, but I think English audience appreciate music even more. It's like they demand it. So if you give them a good show, a long show, a show with instrumentation, with meaning, with soul, with passion, they'll appreciate it more because I think they analyze everything. Well, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they were there, and L.A. Reid, they were all like dancing super hard just in the back because if they were in the front, it would distract from the show a little bit, just a little, you know. I swear I was told not to swear, and also I swear I didn't care. You know, afterwards, you know, we hopped on LA's jet. Still, I was riding on thin-ass jets. I want it like that. Can I have it like that? And yes, we had it like that. We were on the jet flying back to New York, partying. I think we were watching Mean Girls. And that's how we partied. And we all on the plane back, we started arguing about what were the best movies. And all my best movies are like Coming to America, Meet the Parents, and all Jay's movies are just like gangster movies. It's like Godfather, 1, 2, Casino, Scarface, Goodfellas. I was like, hey, Jay, you like any movies about like regular people? I have superstitions like if my outfit isn't that good, the show is not going to be as pleasing to watch. Serious philosophies like that separate me from most artists, you know. The clothing, the acute attention to the detail, the fabric. Yeah, Abbey Road, just the concept of walking in that room and having the strings, and it felt like a kid in a candy store or artist in an art store. You just get all these paints and say, I could do this, I can do that. And playing with the lights was fun. And you know, having John be there with the piano, the instrumentation, the orchestration, all that, just it sent my mind racing. And now you'll see when I come back to Europe that the show is on an entire new level that's inspired by some of the concepts that we touched on at Abbey Roads. We touched them there, but now we touch the sky everywhere. I love people throwing out ideas. I hate when people tell me their ideas afterwards. Oh, I always thought that was bad. Why didn't you tell me before the fact? You know, so if anybody tells me something before the fact, constructive criticism, it's constructive if it's beforehand, it's negative if it's afterhand. I never liked that. Like, okay, things I could have found out yesterday, you know. So whenever somebody throws out an idea, I'm like open to it. The next stage of my career, you know, I'm always looking for new ideas, fresh ideas, because, you know, basically, I've accomplished in 2 years what takes, you know, artists 10 years, 20 years. So, you know, let me figure out what else I'm gonna do, you know. You know, we won Grammys, #1 records. You know, my first album, it came out less than 2 years ago, mind you. I don't know, I'll figure out something good to do.